Hi, I'm Linz. Welcome to Becoming Everwell, a channel where we talk about the ongoing journey of becoming. In today's life learning episode for Midlife You, we are talking about making space for the hardest emotions, like anger. I make sense of life by writing about real everyday stuff that makes us who we are. Some of these snapshots are fun, some are more serious. Maybe they'll open up something in you too. Let's grow. I love Pixar's Inside Out movies. The concept of personifying the emotions inside the mind offers a fascinating perspective on being human. To depict the pulls and shifts and conflicts of one's emotions, the filmmakers present the emotions as individual characters who all have a seat at the table of one's inner command center. And typically, one emotion is at the helm. The first Inside Out movie, which focuses on a tween, includes the emotions of joy, sadness, disgust, anger, and fear. And the second movie, in which the main character embarks on puberty, she gains anxiety, embarrassment, envy, ennui, aka boredom, and nostalgia. And although the film's plot lines revolve around one main character's plight, at moments throughout the films, the viewer is whisked into the minds of supporting characters, and momentarily we catch glimpses of how their inner command centers operate. With my 3 kids all on the brink of puberty or swimming in it, the films have become a powerful invitation for all of us to openly converse about the inner command centers that operate our own emotions. Just after seeing Inside Out 2, my family considered this question over lunch. Which emotion is in the driver's seat of your life these days? My husband chimed in right away with anxiety. He kind of chuckled because in the film, anxiety's tornado of intensity becomes uncomfortable to witness. But he openly shared that he identifies with the film's depiction that anxiety focuses on all the things that could happen, all the possible scenarios that could go wrong. And his mind therefore works exhaustively, imagining and preparing for all of them. My 13-year-old daughter identified embarrassment and joy as her co-drivers. My 12-year-old son identified fear and joy. I identified nostalgia and joy. And my youngest son, who's 10, identified anger. As each person talked about why they just self-described as they did, the conversation about my littlest's relationship to anger gave me pause. I wasn't surprised. His anger has been a featured character throughout our family's story, but I was impressed that in the calm of this conversation, he was able to acknowledge it. I mean, we've come such a long way. For my youngest, the competitive gene runs deep. His disdain for losing or being wronged can ripen in an instant. And he's also a straight shooter. He's unapologetically direct in both his observations and behaviors, and he tends to be strong-willed. He is precisely who you want on your side when the going gets tough. And many times I've tried to channel my inner him when I've needed a stronger backbone. But historically, when he's felt frustrated, annoyed, slighted, or defeated, anger has been his default emotion. We've worked steadily to help him get to a more mature place where he understands and believes that it's easier to be a good competitor, teammate, classmate, family member, and self when his anger is not in control. And he's made tremendous strides. He now chooses to not give his anger too much attention or time. Only occasionally do I see traces of his anger these days, but for years, as his parents, who are both probably rule-following pleasers to a fault, we struggled big time with his propensity toward anger. A child who succumbs to anger in public gets so easily judged, even by family and friends, and by default, the parents of the angry kid tend to get judged too. At a recent baseball game of his, the theatrics of a frustrated teammate became a 4-hour show for all spectators of the doubleheader. As his new teammate carried on, I observed his parents in what appeared to be a concoction of sideline coaching, embarrassment, frustration, helplessness, and overwhelm. With every mistake, and there were many, Their son muttered profanities, gestured blame at other players, his bat or his glove, or turned to his parents and lashed out, often targeting them to shut up. His display ultimately was brutal for all. Afterwards, my husband and I couldn't shake our feelings about it. Not because we judged them, but more because we ached for this family and how we imagined them feeling in the aftermath. My husband floated the idea of calling the kid's dad, offering a dad-to-dad connection. I thought it seemed like a risky move since we hardly knew these people, but he followed his instinct and called. And you know what happened? After a few minutes of conversing, where empathy was offered, kind questions were asked, connection was established, and open conversation about the pain point transpired, the other dad was brought to tears. The kind of tears that come once an inner pressure valve has been released. After my husband explained that our son's anger used to get the best of him too, a statement that this dad couldn't even believe because he only knew the kid our son appeared to be at present, he told my husband that he felt seen and hopeful. They talked for 45 minutes. The other dad asked lots of questions, and my husband shared some of the strategies that worked for us and some that didn't. And then he thanked my husband for reaching out. He texted the next day, thanking him again. By the end of the baseball season, I observed that the boys' behaviors improved significantly. Not entirely, not even close. This isn't a quick fix endeavor, but that's not my point. The valuable life learning that came from this experience for me is that so many of us struggle in isolated silence with our hardest emotions. And yet, none of us are the first people to deal with hard emotions. Sure, we're all capable of and hardy enough to push through hard emotions and tough circumstances independently, but we're also capable of harvesting our own food, sewing our own clothes, and building our own dwellings. But that doesn't mean that taking on such labor on one's own is the smartest, healthiest, or most effective way to live life. We are emotionally designed beings, and the plain truth is that we handle our emotions better in connection, in partnership. We need each other's wisdom to light our paths through the unfamiliar emotional landscapes that we traverse. When we understand firsthand about the emotional strain of another's challenge, and if we're willing to be vulnerable about that experience, there's immense power in making it known to the other. Meaningful connection that serves to light another person's path through emotional pain serves as a lifeline toward hope. So my question for you is this: which emotion is in the driver's seat of your life these days? And my hope for you is that you'll seek out a trusted person with whom you can connect, talk about the emotions driving your lives, and then offer each other some light on this next stretch of your respective journeys. Let's grow. Thanks for being here today. I'm Lindsay Hurdy. You can learn all about what I do on my website, lindsayhurdy.com. Until next time. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell to get alerts for new posts. I'd be ever grateful.